Chapter 1. The Spark of War. On a cold evening in September 1939, Europe stood on the brink of danger. For years, tensions had been escalating, and hearts were filled with fear of a dark future. On the first day of September, Germany, under the leadership of a man consumed by dreams and ambitions named Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. The German army advanced with stunning speed using the blitzkrieg tactic, combining speed and destructive force. Poland could not withstand this deluge. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. This moment marked the beginning of a war humanity would never forget. Chapter 2. The Axis Storms. In the following months, Germany allied with Italy, led by Mussolini, and with Japan, which was eager to expand its empire in the Far East. The Axis moved like an unstoppable machine. France falls quickly. In May 1940, German forces crossed the French border and swiftly overran it. Paris was occupied, and France surrendered after a few weeks. The world stood in awe at this sight. Britain stands firm, but Britain, led by Winston Churchill, did not surrender. In the Battle of Britain, German planes tried to bomb London and terrorize its people, but the British resisted bravely. Meanwhile, deep in Russia, Hitler was planning to invade the Soviet Union, unaware that this adventure would become his greatest mistake. Chapter 3. Japan enters the game. While the world was burning in Europe, Japan made its bold move in the Pacific. On a quiet morning of December 7, 1941, Japanese planes flew over the American naval base at Pearl Harbor and dropped bombs on the warships. The attack was like a bolt of lightning. The United States lost much, but decided to retaliate. America entered the war with full force, and the conflict became truly global. Chapter 4. Turning Points. As 1942 began, the balance of power started to change. Defeat in Africa. In the scorching desert of North Africa, the Allies led by General Montgomery met the Axis forces led by Rommel, known as the Desert Fox. In the Battle of El Alamein, Rommel's forces were defeated, and the Allies began to advance. Battle of Stalingrad. On the Eastern Front, German forces clashed with the Soviet army in Stalingrad. The battle was harsh and the Russian winter unforgiving. In the end, the Soviets encircled the German army, and the Germans were defeated. Normandy invasion. On June 6, 1944, the largest naval invasion in history took place. Allied forces gathered on the beaches of Normandy in France and began the journey to liberate Western Europe from Nazi occupation. Chapter 5. The Fall of the Emperors. In April 1945, as Soviet forces surrounded Berlin, Hitler hid in an underground bunker. Realizing his end had come, he committed suicide, leaving behind a Germany that once aspired to dominate the world. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrendered. But the war wasn't over yet. In Asia, Japan refused to surrender. The nuclear bomb. In August 1945, the United States decided to end the war shockingly. 2 nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The cities exploded and turned to ash. The scenes were horrific, and on September 2, 1945, Japan announced its surrender. Chapter 6. After the storm. The war ended, but the world was not the same. Cities were destroyed, and hearts were burdened with losses. Germany was divided into East and West.